My name is Imari. I'm here to talk about life, purpose. What are we all doing here? But actually, before I do that, I want to get something off my chest. Just gonna let you guys know it's probably gonna make some of you guys uncomfortable. Could you guys stop recording for a second? Thanks. What I want to get off my chest is, I'll just say it. I have a problem with TEDxFolsom. So the people who are running this event. And that's because a couple months ago, they sent me an email that I felt like was pretty inappropriate, insensitive. It made me uncomfortable. To be fair, it was only a couple words that made me feel uncomfortable. And those words were, Imari, you are invited to give a TEDx talk. And I have never come so close to an existential crisis in an email. You know what I mean? Like, it's quite possibly the worst, best news I had ever gotten in my entire life. I mean, I was sitting there reading this email, and all I could think about was you all looking at me like, he's not that smart, he's not that handsome, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Oh, I was freaking out. And TEDx had the nerve to send me an email. Some things should be a phone call, you know? Like, send some guy to make an announcement, a guy with a trumpet, a courier, you know what I mean? Some things should not be sent through an email. And there I am, just sitting, freaking out on the verge of a panic attack, like feeling my heart rate go up and down. And I'm like, I need to calm down. I need to bring myself down to stasis. So I need to call somebody. So I called my dad. Anybody who knows my dad, terrible choice, but I did it. I call my dad, Dad, you're never gonna believe it, Dad, something's happening. Well, it didn't happen, it's gonna happen in the future. Son, what's going on? Talk to me. Dad, they want me to go to give a TED talk. Dad, who's Ted? Not who, Dad, what? What? A TEDx talk at Folsom. Where's Folsom? I don't know, Dad, but they want me to go talk on the red carpet. You're gonna go to Hollywood, son? That's gonna be great for your career. No, Dad, a red dot. Don't you understand? They want me to speak on a red dot. Silence. And then my dad goes, I don't understand what the big deal is. I swear to God, I almost hung up on him in that moment. But he also asked me another question. He said, why are you so stressed? And I had to pause for a second before I completely disowned him from my family. I paused, and I was like, why am I so stressed? I mean, I know that this moment affects me. I was backstage getting myself ready. I could feel my heart racing. My breath is kind of, like I can feel it affecting me physiologically. And if you don't get anything else from this talk, know that what matters to you affects you. What matters to you determines what you prioritize in your life. It determines how you spend your time, your money, your energy. What matters to you is how you create meaning in this life. No pun intended. What matters is quite literally all that matters. Hold on. Before I go on this tangent, this rabbit hole, I know you guys are like, what is going on with this guy? Let me backtrack for a second, because we first have to ask ourselves, does anything matter in the first place? I mean, we all have that one friend. We'll call him Chad. And Chad is the guy who's had too many puffs of the Magic Dragon. And he goes, you know what, man? I've been thinking. Whenever Chad is thinking, not a good idea. I've been thinking. We're just on a rock, man. Just floating through space. Everybody's stressed out all the time. It doesn't matter. We're just on a rock. And to be fair, Chad has a point. Because, I mean, everybody's constantly stressed about everything. Oh, this was due yesterday. Oh, this is happening tomorrow. What's going on in the news? It's like, guys, does it really matter? We're on a rock. What's the big deal? And I remember I was having this conversation one time with a Chad, And there we were sitting in Temecula, we were sitting on this like beautiful green hill and the sun was setting, it's orange and red, it was just so beautiful. For legal purposes, I'll leave it ambiguous if we were on psychedelics, but we were just sitting on this hill and just watching this beautiful sunset, thinking about how small all of our problems are. And my friend looks over at me and hits me with the line, he's like, man, we're just on a rock. And I was like, yeah, but we're on a rock. A life-sustaining rock that's throttling through the universe. And here we are, alive, breathing, listening to this guy talk. Like, that's kind of amazing. I wanted to cry. That's mind-blowing. How lucky here we are. And whether it was God or it was Allah or it was a convenient splitting of an atom billions of years ago, we're here. So if we're here, we might as well do something. It's like Chad. Chad is like the guy who goes to the theme park and he's like, the roller coaster just goes in a circle, so there's not really any point going on. It doesn't even go anywhere. It's like, bro, shut up. What are you gonna do? You're gonna sit in the parking lot? Get on the goddamn ride. Here we go. As you guys can tell, I get pretty worked up about these things. But, okay, so we see on one side that the idea that nothing matters isn't that interesting of a philosophy, right? So let's try the other side. The other side is, we'll call her stressed out Sarah. Stressed out Sarah is convinced that everything matters. Climate change, Kim Kardashian. The garbage man who keeps dropping trash on my street, everything matters. Everything needs to be addressed right now. I don't want to be that either. That sounds terrible. Because if you think that everything matters, if you allow yourself to be affected by everything, here you are just sitting in a never-ending state of anxiety. And ironically, being that person, you're actually quite similar to Chad because you're so worked up, you're so stressed that you just don't end up doing anything. And like I said, while I'm here, I want to do something, whether it matters or not. I mean, guys, think about it. Like, you are meaning-making machines. You're making something matter, whether you like it or not. I'm making meaning out of the fact that I'm on a red dot right now. Look at me. I'm a speaker. Isn't that crazy? You guys are making meaning out of the fact, like, why is this shirt so unbuttoned? Like, we are constantly making meaning out of something. So if we have to make meaning out of something, why not choose what we want to make meaning out of? Why not choose what we want to have affect us? I've chosen that what matters to me is making my mouth move in a room full of strangers, spreading ideas that make me feel alive. That's what matters to me. Which brings us to two questions. If we're going to choose what matters to us, well, what should you choose? And second question is, well, how do you choose it? We're going to take care of that today. Number one, first question, what should you choose? First answer, I don't care. Like, you can be the world's most passionate pistachio farmer. You can be dedicated to being the first settler on Mars. Like, I don't care what you choose. I just want you to choose something that is specific enough that you can actually affect it, but broad enough that you'll never fully accomplish it. I want it to be something that will keep you engaged and entertained from now until the end of your life. I want it to be something that you can say, at the end of your life, yeah, that's how I spent my time on the rock. And I'm proud of it. That's what I want for us. So that's what you should choose. But it's like, okay, Imari, well, once I choose something, well, how do I make it matter? Don't worry, we're getting there. We're going to do something a little different for this part. Could you all seem like nice people. Could you do me a favor? Could you reach underneath your seats? There should be a rock. Hold that rock in your hand. Close your eyes and just notice what comes up in your head. Are you like, oh my God, where is this going? Or maybe you're genuinely curious where this is going to go. Either way, it's fine. I promise. I don't care. It's all good. Just notice. And as you hold this rock in your hand, I want you to weigh it. Is it heavy? Is it light? Maybe like run your fingers over it. Is it sharp? Is it soft? Do me a favor. Open your eyes. Look at the rock. Is there anything maybe you didn't notice at first about the rock, but now you can see? Maybe there's a blemish. Maybe it's kind of looks like a shape. I was like, oh, this is my rock from home. What does it look like? And as you look at this rock, I want you to ask yourself a very big question, which is, what do I have in common with this rock? Is it that I'm strong and I'm resilient, or is it that I break easily? Maybe I'm heavy and I sink under pressure. Or maybe it's just that we're both in the same room right now. What do you have in common with the rock? Do me one last favor. Take that rock and squeeze it as tight as you can in your hands, and take the deepest breath you've taken in all day. Inhale. As you exhale, I'm going to break some really big news to you. That thing, the thing in your hand, guys, it's just a rock. There's nothing special about this rock. Unless, of course, you say that there is. Unless, of course, you decide that there is. See, I can guarantee you that every single one of you now has a different relationship to this rock than you did 5 minutes ago, right? And that's because of 3 things: awareness, attention, action. Awareness. This rock meant nothing to you until it came into your awareness. Just like nothing will matter to you in this world until it comes into your awareness. And if we want to choose what affects us, that means we have to choose what we allow into our awareness. It means that in the age of social media, we just can't follow every account. We just can't read every doomsday news article. It means being conscious of the conversations that we participate in. Because if we allow anything into our awareness, all of a sudden what Johnny said to Susie and what Susie said to Rebecca and how Rebecca cheated on Jeremiah, that's going to be the most time-consuming thing that occupies your day. And I don't think many of us would be proud to say that's what we did with our time on the rock. But look, I get it. You can't always choose the things that come into your awareness, right? You didn't consent to having a rock brought into your awareness, and now here we are. So the question becomes like, okay, Mari, if I have all these things in my awareness, how do I choose what I will and will not let affect me? And that brings us to our second A, which is attention. The more attention you give something is the more it will matter to you. If you feed your attention into what Johnny said to Susie, if you look up narcissistic traits on Wikipedia, if you follow this rabbit hole of what Johnny did to Susie, that will be your life. And we all know this. We have a limited amount of attention that we can spend. So why not spend it on something we would be proud to spend it on? While we're on the rock. The more attention you give something is the more you tell your mind, this is important. Make meaning out of this. This matters. It's not just a rock. So just be more conscious of where you send your attention. And that brings us to our final A, my favorite A, action. The best way to make something matter is to do something about it. Period. End of sentence. Complete. Like, take your rock, for example. You can be like, oh man, here goes this shirtless guy and his like gimmicks, and just toss the rock out of the garden when we're done. And cool, great, now the rock doesn't matter. Or maybe you go home and you use the rock to hold open a door. Maybe now then the purpose of the rock is to hold open doors. Or maybe you use the rock and you break open a window. Wouldn't advise it, but you do it. And now the purpose of the rock is to break windows. What I'm trying to say, guys, is that you decide what your purpose is. You are the one who makes meaning of your life in a meaningless universe by the actions that you take. You could go home, put this rock on your bedside table, and every single morning you look at it and you say, yeah, I'm the one who's taking control of my life. I'm the one who's choosing what matters. Now that's the purpose of the rock. If you want this moment to matter, if you want this talk to matter, if you want that rock to matter, it can. Just decide that it does, and then do something about it. Yeah? Great. Look, I'm not here to tell you what to care about, whether it's the pistachios or the climate change. I'm just here to say that if this is all the time we have, let's be intentional with what we do with the time. Let's celebrate it. Let's choose something that we would be proud to spend our attention, our energy, our life on. And once you've chosen it, give it your all. Give it your life. Like, even if there is no God, no higher being above, who cares what you do, you're allowed to care. It's in your best interest to care. The most powerful thing you can do in a meaningless universe is care about anything. So choose something. Let it matter to you. Let it ravage you. Let it break your heart. Let it inspire you and motivate you to change the world. Because we've all been given a life, so we might as well make it matter, if not only just for us. Thank you for your time.